Everywhere we turn in society, we find rules. It's the way life is organized. And this is particularly so in the military. In military life, rules can mean the difference between life and death. And that's why we're trained in swift obedience to lawful commands. Discipline is first and foremost self-discipline. In the military, we're trained to react in accordance with pre-established drills or orders to complete the assigned missions, regardless of the stress and dangers placed upon us. For instance, the pilot of an aircraft must make instant decisions based on training and discipline. There's no time to look things up in a manual or question procedures. The pilot must exercise pre-established drills for fire in the air to prevent escalation of a dangerous situation, and in most instances, eliminate it. Of course, there are always those who cut corners or fail to exercise appropriate self-discipline. That's when skilled leaders trusted with running the show have to step in and persuade those under their command that the only way to operate efficiently and make things work smoothly is to go by the rules. Discipline is a matter of persuasion, and a leader sets the tone for discipline.
I have to admit, I always thought of Private Jordan as one of my best workers with great potential. But he had a few problems that could affect his performance and his military career. He was on track to hurt himself and quite possibly those who worked with him. Frankly, I had enough of his behavior when one day he pulled a stunt that just went over the top, even for him. I couldn't understand where he was coming from, and I told him so in short order.
Sorry, Master Corporal. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Some crash, eh?
You think you're some kind of joker? You never pay attention, and on top of that, you were going too fast.
Yeah, but we have this rush orders.
Don't give me a bunch of your crap. Have about had it with you and your carelessness. Get off the machine.
But Master Corporal,
No more buts, Jordan. In my office, now. Okay, so I lost my temper and I shouldn't have dressed him down in front of everybody. It was the first time Jordan had been told about his problems, even though they'd been going on for some time. In a strange way, it turned out to be helpful for him. I stopped by the sergeant's office on my way out.
Master Corporal Duval should have controlled her temper, particularly if it was the first time Private Jordan was reprimanded. She should have kept the emotional level low instead of flying off the handle. And she should have been specific and focused on the private's performance without getting into personalities. By the Master Corporal's own admission, Jordan should have been corrected sooner, in a timely fashion, after proper investigation. That might have solved the problem and prevented the incident. Finally, you should try to keep the reprimand private. It's difficult to make your point by disciplining someone in front of an audience.
But he's no good. Won't settle into his duties. I've had it up to here with the guy, and I don't think we should put up with him any longer.
You want to get rid of him?
The sooner the better.
It's your decision, but that'll put a real black mark on his career.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, but that's really not a concern.
Well, as a supervisor's, yes it is. Doesn't he have any redeeming qualities?
Sure he does. When he keeps his mind on the job, he's really good. There was a time when I had him down for more responsibility.
Well, maybe that's what he needs.
Could be. Could be.
A junior leader must attempt to take all the steps to discipline. First, identify the behavior to be changed. Next, give the individual a verbal warning about unsatisfactory behavior. If the behavior persists, your supervisor may either lay a charge or issue a recorded warning that is placed on the member's file. If nothing improves, proceed with the counseling and probation process as a last attempt to improve behavior and motivation. If all else fails, in most cases, the only alternative is release. Of course, there are some problems that are too serious for a junior leader to handle, so you have to be ready to ask a superior for help. When you do, be prepared to recommend a course of action. Things like extra training, a verbal warning, a recorded warning, counseling and probation, or laying a charge.
Sit down, Jordan. What do you think you're doing?
sorry.
When Master Corporal Duval finally cooled down, she decided to give the private another chance. Jordan even got increased responsibilities, and it was a good decision. But the best of plans can encounter some rough patches, and they both had a few more lessons to learn.
Hey, Jordan, how are you?
Move it.
What's your problem?
I'm trying to work. Move it.
Don't tell me what to do.
I'll tell you whatever I want.
Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Okay, cool down, both of you. You're doing it again, Jordan. You're nothing but a troublemaker.
Master Corporal.
I don't want to hear it. Just get out of here, now. I hate being disappointed, especially when I've gone out of my way to trust someone.
Yes, but you let your temper get the best of you again. And you did it in front of other people. That simply doesn't work.
The sergeant was right. I neglected some of the basics, and I needed a few reminders of my own. He wasn't shy about giving them to me.
Master Corporal Duval and I went back to basics, the guidelines we should all remember when applying discipline effectively and correcting undesirable behavior. Leaders must understand their disciplinary responsibilities and exercise fairness and sound judgment. They must insist on high standards of performance. Effective communication must be maintained. Those in your charge must understand what is expected and how you will achieve it. As a leader, you must be prepared to enforce discipline fairly. Finally, you must set the standards by setting the pace for discipline.
I decided I should hear both sides, so I sat down privately with Jordan and told him the problems I had with his performance. I could see he was just as upset as I was. I guess I hadn't noticed how hard he had been trying. I gave him the chance to put me straight about the coffee incident. There's always two sides to every story. We came to some constructive conclusions.
I flew off the handle and I gotta keep it under control.
Good. So we both learned something, right?
Yeah,
Good.
thanks.
All right. Well, I'm glad I talked with you.
Jordan's doing a pretty good job now, and it's satisfying to see the change. We both feel good about it, and I guess, in a very real way, we all learned something.
Discipline is the very backbone of the military. It's a vital part of our system, and the task of applying it rests squarely on the shoulders of supervisors and leaders at every level of the organization. Discipline should be the art of persuasion, not force. It must be applied fairly, expressed through effective communication, and exemplified by the self-discipline of the leader. In the Canadian Forces, all members are required to understand and apply discipline. It's up to those in positions of leadership to make sure it's applied consistently and fairly. It's your job. Do it.